Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Sunday, March 2nd, 2025. So, did you do the crossword?
I did the crossword.
And did you find it to be a very colorful affair?
It was colorful.
Mm-hmm.
I spent way too long on it. It took me a long time to get this one filled in.
Was that because you were dazzled by the colors?
It's because I couldn't figure out the theme.
Oh.
Well, once I did, I don't know if it really helped that much. I was just struggling to get this filled in. And then I had mistakes. And of course, then that takes even longer.
Right.
But I eventually slogged through it, but...
I feel very confident that I spent more time on this than you did.
Okay. You want to tell me how much time you spent on it?
Allow me to research the question here. And let's see. 2 hours, 20 minutes, and 26 seconds.
Oh, yes, you did spend longer.
I figured as much.
I spent 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 45 seconds. Oh.
Now, in my defense, about an hour of that was spent because I couldn't find my mistake, and I made the mistake of trying to find it at night.
Oh, yeah.
And I woke up in the morning, and I looked, and the first thing I looked at, I thought, well, that's not right. And then I got the happy music. It's like I should have just gone to bed 2 hours earlier.
Yep. So.
But for the record, in case you're wondering, 12 down was milliner's decorations. And that crossed with 34 across photographer Golden. And I thought Golden, which is spelled Goldin, I thought their name was Nin. And so, because I thought, isn't that clever that in rhymes with nin? It's a good thing I remembered that mnemonic, except it wasn't a mnemonic. I just made it up on the spot.
Yes.
They have had an author called Anais Nin.
Yes.
And I thought perhaps this was their relative.
Oh.
Anyways, so I had hat binds for milliner's decorations.
Oh.
And I'm like, what's a hat bind? And then I looked at it and thought, a hat band sounds something like it might be something. And that was the end of it.
Okay.
An important lesson. Don't solve crosswords when you're exhausted.
That's very good advice, yes.
In my defense, there were several areas that I just didn't know if they were correct. I was having a lot of trouble with like 39 across, 39 across, the mafiosi made men.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I think it's like they're self-made men. I don't know, I guess they've used that clue before, I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember it.
But well, let me just check here. Let's see. There was 39. No, actually, as an answer, it's unique. So the Made Men is a debut. But I remember hearing that mafiosi. I think that's Italian for made men.
Oh, okay.
Sort of like self-made. I think that's the idea.
Okay.
But I had trouble there with. Let's see. Take a breather was sit one out. And I thought that was true, but then 29 across, follower of Robespierre in 18th century France. And I'm like, oh, great. Am I supposed to think of the next person after Robespierre or Monsieur or something like that? I didn't know what to do with it. Anyways, that was Jacobin. Did you know that?
No.
Okay. I had to. Did you know? How about the hat bands? Did you know the hat bands?
No.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, I put hat candy for a while.
Hat candy?
Like decoration, something extra, sort of like candy.
That sounds like something you should wear on Halloween. Check out my hat candy.
But
help! These kids are eating my hat.
Well, I didn't really like that as an answer, but I couldn't think of anything else. And I didn't know 51 across the last letter where I had the Y. Taiwan-based tech giant, Asus.
Yes.
Asus.
I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but
I thought it was Acer, and then I thought it was Awa. I'd never heard of Asus. Well, I've heard of those other companies, and I thought those were also... maybe they weren't all Taiwan, maybe they're just Asian based. But anyway, it was Asus.
Well, ASUS has appeared 3 times in the New York Times crossword, twice last year, and it was clued as Taiwanese tech company and laptop brand.
Oh.
And then, of course, today it's Taiwan-based tech giant.
Right.
So,
ASUS.
but you're right. I mean, Acer and Iowa and ASUS, or however it's pronounced, all would have
Don't remember that one.
all would have worked in there.
Uh-huh. So I wasn't sure what the last letter was. So anyway, eventually I put hat.
Bands.
Yes.
Right. The D of hat bands ran into 45 across temper, which was mood.
Mood. Yes.
And I had that, but again, I was starting to suspect everything in this crossword, and for me the theme actually did help quite a lot.
Well, yes. Once you figured it out, you almost had to. Otherwise, you couldn't answer any of the clues that evolved the theme. So,
and apparently this, as you might suspect, ticked off a bunch of wordplay listeners.
Oh dear.
Although it seems like a larger number sort of rallied to the author's defense, the author being Adam Wagner. I thought it was a great crossword. I thought that the theme was terrific.
Oh, I did too.
And I'm like,
I did too. I mean, it was a great challenge, but it just it made you have to think,
right?
And remember how various colors were spelled.
Well, the one valid complaint I heard about it was that if you were colorblind, this was a non-starter.
Yeah, that wouldn't help.
And so I don't know if they mentioned that or what, but I think a few people were sort of annoyed at that. More people were just annoyed because of the revealer, which I don't want to say right here, suggested that perhaps there should have been rebuses there. And I guess there were people who put rebuses everywhere.
Oh, really?
I contemplated that when I couldn't get it to solve, but then I looked at the revealer and I thought, no, I don't think it should be there.
No.
But rather than beat about the bush anymore, why don't you talk about the theme and then we can come back to that revealer.
Okay. Well,
or you might want to start there. I don't know.
Yeah, the when you looked at the puzzle, you saw a number of colored lines going down vertically at various points in the puzzle, and they were of varying lengths. And the revealer told you exactly what you should do with those, and that was 113 across. Tidy way to color. And where 7 words are hiding in this puzzle. And the answer to that was inside the lines. So you knew that the lines represented a word of a color, the name of a color. So the first one was fairly easy. It was a red line, and it went 3 squares down. So that meant that within that line you had an R, and then underneath that you had an E, and then underneath that you had a D. So 1 across was where the R was, and that was town. And if you put a BU before the red line and a G after it, and if that red line represents an R, that would be burg, which would be an answer for town. It also, when you look at the puzzle, looks like bug, which is also a word.
Yes.
Okay. And then 19 across was where the second part of that red line was. That would have represented an E. And the clue was mid-voyage. The answer to that was a C. You put AS before the red line and then another A after it, and if the red line represents an E, then you get the word a C.
Yes.
Which is mid-voyage. If you just look at the puzzle, you got ASA or ASA, which is a common crossword answer. Something as a, crazy as a loon. It could be crazy blank loon, and you'd have to put ASA in the puzzle.
As mad as a wordplay commenter.
Yeah, it could be that too. And then the third one was 23 across. The one right under that was go ahead responses. And of course, that represented the D in red. The last part of the red line was the D. So you had an N-O in front of the D and an S after the D, and that would be the word nods. But as you look at the puzzle, you just see nose, and you just have to know that red represents a D. Mm-hmm. So, and nose, of course, is a word. So that I thought was the most interesting thing was, you would have to think about, what was the letter of the color name that you would be inserting in each one of these answers. But then as you look at the answers without that inserted letter, they are still words or still common answers you see in crosswords. So yes. I thought that was very interesting that they were able to do that.
Indeed.
And really quite a feat
right.
when you think about it. And then, so you had the red line, and then the next one was an orange line, which was on the other side of the top of the puzzle. In the middle, you had a yellow line, a green line, and a blue line. And then at the bottom, you had two lines that looked purple, and I tried to do purple in both, but actually the first one was an indigo line, and the last one was a violet line. And so you had the entire spectrum. Roy G. Biv.
Right.
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, which made the puzzle very colorful.
Yes.
Which I appreciated. But it did take a long time to answer because you had all of these different places where you're having to sort of mentally insert letters to answer the clue. And then when you take the letter out, you still have to have a word that makes sense.
Right.
So,
and there were 36 of these.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, I mean, there was a lot of, you had to do that a lot.
You did. So that took time.
I actually got pretty good at visualizing the word right next to it.
I had to keep thinking, okay, there's a D in here. Okay, there's a Y in here. So it was a challenge for me.
I think what would have been absolutely awesome is once you solved the crossword, the lines sort of split apart and you could see the color in them. Uh-huh. I'd like to see little hands as they crawl out from the line.
I thought you were going to say that they created a new space with the word, Well, that's
what I wanted to have happen. I wanted like the word to sort of like an alien. I wanted the word to come out of the line. Uh-huh. I don't know, maybe not quite like Alien.
Right.
Except for the red part, I guess then it would be appropriate.
That would be a little tricky, I think, because the lines were lines. They weren't very wide.
Right.
Just wide enough so you could see the color. So I don't think they could expand them very much.
No, I guess not.
But anyway, great puzzle.
Well, even when it comes to the revealer inside the line, so it's the revealer was 113 across, tidy weight of color, and where 7 words are hiding in this puzzle, which means the words are there.
Yes.
Which means you wouldn't have to put in a rebus.
Right.
But a lot of people thought, I have to put in a rebus here. The words are there; they're just hiding.
They're inside the line. Yeah.
But I think if you solved or attempted to solve the crossword and didn't get the happy music, then you might be tempted to do that. I was almost tempted, but I thought, there's no way they would make people put in that many rebuses. That would just be cruel and unusual.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I too had the issue with purple and indigo, because I usually just think about red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. For some reason in my education, they left off indigo.
Oh.
Or maybe it was indowent. I don't know. I liked 4 across. Blank funny. The most exciting phrase to hear in science, per Isaac Asimov. That's funny.
Yes.
I thought that was funny in several senses.
Yeah, I got a little chuckle out of that. Mm-hmm.
4 down was parliamentary conservatives, Tories.
Yep.
Sam Izersky will not allow Tory in spelling bee, and yet they do allow it in the New York Times. I don't know why he doesn't allow it, but maybe because it's considered a proper noun. I'm not sure because they frown on those.
Yeah, it would be.
Next, almost next to it, 6 down, Pantheon of Norse Gods, Aesir.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was thinking Asgard.
That's what I was thinking too.
But it wouldn't fit.
And actually, it's interesting.
We both get our Norse mythology from
Marvel.
Thor movies.
That's right. Well, that is the canonical source.
Oh, yes, I know all about Norse mythology. I've seen Thor.
Let's see. We had 8 down. W9, and that was a W-9, the digit 9 spelled out. W99, Abra, and that was SSN.
Right.
I thought that was splendid.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes.
20 across members of a tough crowd, perhaps, was booers.
Yeah, that took me a while. Because for that B, where that B crossed 20 down, came clean, I put washed.
As did everybody else.
Or then I thought, well, maybe it's like lather, but it turned out to be bathed.
Yes.
So, which makes a lot more sense than wash, really. But yeah, so then I got booers. I had wooers, and I'm like, well, those aren't members of a tough crowd, but
No.
booers certainly
Booers
are.
are. And you have to avoid confusing the boors and the booers.
Yes.
That's hard to say. 24 across, the humanities, traditionally arts and letters.
Yes.
That's my college.
That is
Arts
your
and
college.
Letters.
Is that what it's called?
Yes, the College of Arts and Letters,
Really?
which I think is just the greatest name ever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I tried to put in arts and sciences, but I was one square short.
Right.
So then I put in arts and science. But then it was like, oh, no, it's letters.
They had a budget cut.
Yeah.
Biology and chemistry had to go.
One science.
The L of letters ran into 9 down. Shortened name on a Pelicans jersey. And I'm like, oh, great. Where are the Pelicans? And at first I thought they were maybe in Pittsburgh.
No.
But apparently they were in New Orleans because it was NOLA.
There's probably not a lot of Pelicans in Pittsburgh, but no doubt there's quite a few in New Orleans, yes.
Right. 9 across, don't take offense nowadays was no shade.
Yes.
That's an interesting phrase.
Yes.
And 25 down was splendid. Set new records, say, informally, DJ'd.
Yes.
There were a lot of really good clues like that.
Yes.
I was highly impressed.
I was too. I thought it was a great puzzle.
37 across, one of 2 in this clue, Anapest.
Yeah, now that I had to get from the crosses. I had no idea what that was.
Right.
But it's some kind of phrase. I looked it up afterwards. It's some sort of a phrase or clause, I think.
Yes.
So,
Well, that could be a fun fact. Anapest.
yes, Anapest.
Anapest. Let's see.
And that crossed with another one that I wasn't quite sure on, but it makes sense. 5 down, cuisine style that's kept simmering at the table. Hot pot.
You're unfamiliar with a cuisine? I'm shocked.
A hot pot, yeah.
Oh.
Never been to a hot pot restaurant.
I just thought that when we fired up our crock pot, that was the same as a hot pot.
Well, it sort of is, yeah. Or our pressure cooker.
We had 44 across, 1 tapped by leadership, Sir. That was cute.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about 44 down. 2-point play in American football is safety.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That means that after you score a touchdown, rather than going for a field goal, you can try to get it back over the line like another touchdown.
Really?
But it's not. But it's called a safety.
How far back from the goal line do you have to be?
I don't know.
Is it like an inch? I'd go for it.
No. It's like maybe, I don't know, 5 yards or something.
But not the full 10. Because the full 10 sounds impossible. I mean, I suppose you could pass and get lucky.
They're pretty close to the goal line. But
Do they do that a lot?
I don't know. No, that's very risky.
It's
a lot more. You're a lot more likely to get a field goal. So yeah, they almost always go for the 1. It's just like, if they're down by 1,
and it's like 1 second left or something.
They'll go for the safety. So yeah.
Okay, now I know. 53 down, Star Witness Space Telescope.
Yes.
That was cute.
That was a good one.
We also had 59 down, Sloth EG, and that was animal. And then we had 88 across, sloth, e.g., and that was sin.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we had
the 7 deadly.
Double the sloth.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
46 across, I had just heard this word in a completely different context. Bit of smack talk is diss.
Yes.
Apparently diss is also an alternative name for either Hades or Pluto in Greek and Roman mythology. Dis.
Wow.
And in Dante's Inferno, they talk about the city of Dis in hell. So I thought it was just a coincidence that I'd just been listening to this audiobook by Stephen Fry, listeners, highly recommended. And that just happened to pop up in the crossword. 56 across was... It's simultaneously attractive and repulsive magnet.
Yes. I was like, what could that be? But yeah, magnet makes sense.
I was looking for it just here in the grid, and I'm like, well, I don't see magnet. All I see is Manet. And then I remembered, oh, yes, the theme. There's a hidden G. Boy, it got me right there. 70 across was band whose name is a rhyming scheme, ABBA.
Right.
That was cute.
Yes.
And again, in the grid, I'm looking at ABA. Who was 82 across? No, I'm sorry. Let me try that. 82 across, I know. Actor Sebastian Blank of the Avengers movies, Stan.
Right.
But who was 82 down? The Rockefeller Plaza muralist, Cert.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the Rockefeller Plaza mural.
Okay.
But we'll have to look that up.
Something else to ponder. 83 across, capital of East Timor was Dili, D-I-L-I.
I had no idea.
I wonder if they have a lot of delis in Dili. I think that would be awesome. And if I just offended anyone who's living in East Timor, my apologies.
That D crossed with 3 down. What might fill you up after you fill up? Gas station food.
Yes, that was good.
There's always plenty of gas station food, it seems. I hear that's really how they make their profit, selling the food, not selling the gas.
Right. All right. Well, I think that is it for the crossword then.
Okie doke.
So a splendid bit of work by Adam Wagner.
Yes,
really?
Lots of fun.
Yep. And thanks, everyone, for listening. We will be back again with our cutting-edge analysis of tomorrow's crossword tomorrow.
Bye-bye.